We're back with a good friend of the show, Bob Amsterdam, attorney from London, but I think he's in D.C. right now. Bob, thanks for pulling some time for us. I know you're crazy busy.
Hey, Todd, thank you so much again for having us.
Well, let's start with your bread and butter, and then we'll go somewhere else. Ukraine. What is happening to the church there? I've heard rumors that they're officially trying to ban the church entirely now. What is your thought?
Well, the church is in its death throes in terms of its legal existence.
Mm-hmm.
And, I view it as an attack on the United States as much as it is an attack on Christians, because Secretary Rubio and other members of the administration, including the vice president, have made it clear that religious freedom is a central tenet of the United States. And all of a sudden, the Ukrainians just believe they have impunity,
Mm-hmm.
and they can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter that it does not comply with international law. It doesn't matter that it violates their own constitution. They will do whatever it takes to destroy this church. They call it religious cleansing, Todd. And
Really?
they think they can completely get away with it. And I think they're right. I mean, it doesn't appear as if anyone in the media other than you and Tucker cares. You're seeing the destruction of a church, let's say 80 years after the 40s, and it's happening contrary to every aspect of European law as well. There's no legal justification. His Holiness the Pope has spoken out. The Church of England has spoken out. Every NGO has spoken out. But Ukraine is above the law, or below the law. But we have priests as hostages. We have churches destroyed. I mean, it's sinful.
And any reaction from Team Trump? I mean, I know you're talking to them.
Honestly, we've had this terrible tragedy in the United States this week,
right?
And you're not going to get anybody's attention. I picked the wrong time to come.
Yeah,
obviously, you can't plan on something like this.
Sure.
I just find that having Ukrainians at religious freedom conferences, which they inhabit in Washington, trying to put all the attention on the occupied territories, where I join them in condemning Russian activities, by the way, in the occupied territories, but they use it as a deflection to keep us looking there as opposed to what they're doing. So, I don't accept it. I don't accept that they've spent millions whitewashing their conduct in Washington and the United States, millions of U.S. taxpayer money, I might add. And I think they absolutely won't stop. We're not seeing any serious pushback. And I think we will have a fully underground church.
Well, that's what's going on in China. It may become the Chinese model, which, the church is growing pretty rapidly there. Maybe there's some way to tie what happened to Charlie to this whole situation globally, because it's not just Ukraine, right? I mean, you just got back from Armenia. Tell us about that. What's going on there?
Well, we have another situation where there's this false flag of Russian influence being used by a highly unpopular government. The present prime minister has a 10% popularity rating. And to deflect from his horrible handling of the war in Nagorno-Karabakh, he's declared war on the church. He wants to remove the Catholicos, which is the head of the church. He has jailed 2 archbishops. He has jailed my client, Samuel Karpetyan, who is I would say, one of the main funders of the church, for absolutely no reason at all, trying to make it sound like a businessman who said, if the attack continues, he will find a way, I guess, to deploy funds to assist the church, try to make those words somehow seem to be calling for an overthrow. I mean, completely ridiculous. The prime minister's looking for enemies. He's inventing plots. It's actually very sad because, again, in Washington, they just want to, if you mouth the words Russian influence, you get a free pass to authoritarianism, abuse of the courts, abuse of the police. These are the magic passwords that let you into horrific conduct. So, we're dealing with that in Armenia. I was just there. There was newspaper articles saying I was going to be banned. Fortunately, I wasn't banned.
Yeah.
And we are continuing our work. We're going to be releasing a white paper in a number of weeks, setting out the entire story there. And we have further papers, as you know, coming out on Ukraine. And I call all of this not only a war on Christ, but it all follows this concept of securitization, which means that the secular authority gets to decide which churches live and which churches die, all on the basis of the insecurities of political leaders who are often inept or corrupt and need to basically develop enemies.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
To fight.
Well, I was speaking to some people because I was just in Yerevan as well before you, and speaking to contacts there, and they said Pashinyan kind of works where he'll pit people or communities or ethnic groups or power centers against each other, kind of, and that's how he stays in power. Did you see that at all there?
Yes, I mean, clearly this is a most divisive figure.
Yeah.
And in terms of Samuel, my client, he has also tried some sort of phony nationalization of the electric company, which my client indirectly owns. And the government just lost a major arbitration decision. And the Pashinyan reaction was to say that if you don't agree with me, leave the government. So his top lawyer left the government.
Yeah.
The man's behaving like the leader of North Korea.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder. I mean, he was in the Oval Office, and you just wonder if Team Trump knows. But I don't know. It's almost CCP like, because the overarching, I guess, agenda here is not just destroying the church, but setting up a state church, because they're trying to do that in Armenia as well, I think, where they control the religious.
A compliant church. Yeah. And in fact, what people don't get is when leaders like Zelensky talk about Russian influence, the real code is that Zelensky wants to be the only voice.
Yeah.
So it's the exact opposite of Russian influence. The church is a bastion of independent thought, which Zelensky won't allow.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in Armenia. It's this dialectic where, in fact, the guys who are saying they're afraid of Russian influence are mirroring Russian influence. Yes. And they are aspiring to be the same kind of autocrat that Vladimir Putin is. It's just a horrible joke.
So where do you go from here? You just keep trying to raise the issue in the press and in the administration?
Listen, we're going to court, fortunately. We're going to various international tribunals. And in terms of Ukraine, we'll be going to the European Court of Human Rights. But there'll be massive damage done to the church,
Yeah.
and it will take years to repair.
The Orthodox Church, which is what we're speaking of here, in both places. There's
No,
a big,
the Armenians is a different form of Eastern Christianity.
okay, it's the Apostolic Church, right? Is that the technical term?
That's right.
What has been the reaction of that community internationally? Have you had good support or not? Like in the U.S., I mean, there's a resurgence of Orthodox Christians in the U.S., especially among young men.
Well, I think we are in early days here. In fairness, I've been retained for all of about 2 months, but I think we are starting to see real support. And again, I mean, what's tragic about Pashinyan is no one is trying to do anything other than engage in lawful conduct. And yet you have him and Zelensky cycling back to the Soviet period in terms of trying to keep power.
Yeah.
And of course, Zelensky's doing it on the back of massive U.S. aid.
Yeah, amazing. What about, I have heard the same type of thing is going on in Romania. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, I know that there has been the persecution of political opponents. In fact, I think there's a couple of new cases going on in their neighbor Moldova. The EU is democratic as long as you don't basically upset their values.
Right.
They're not democratic.
Right.
So I'm not in touch with church people there, but I am in touch with some people who are trying to operate within the system. But if your particular candidate or party doesn't match up with what the EU wants, they seem pretty good at using the courts to strip away your rights.
Interesting. Anything else, Bob, that you think needs to get out?
Well, no, I mean, I think, as I've begged on your show before, if people can speak to their pastors and religious leaders and try to get the message to their Ukrainian brethren that banning a church in the 21st century is wrong, that would be very helpful.
Bob, thank you. Please send me those white papers when you get them out. I want to put those out.
Thank you so much, Todd. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.